Welcome back to AfroPage. This is where you can stay informed about all the current and thrilling news happening worldwide. Come along, let's discover the bold message that Louis Farrakhan sent to the West, sparking heated debates. Louis Farrakhan, the prominent leader of the Nation of Islam, has always been a polarizing figure in American society. Renowned for his impassioned speeches and controversial statements, Farrakhan has consistently sparked debates on topics such as race relations, social equality, and America's role in global affairs. His powerful rhetoric has often challenged the status quo and pushed for a re-examination of the power dynamics between Western nations and the rest of the world. In his recent address to the Western audience, Farrakhan once again ignited a fervent discussion. His speech, marked by scathing criticisms of Western policies and actions, questions the established norms and advocates for a reassessment of the power structures that govern international relations. By delving into issues of imperialism, economic exploitation, and racial discrimination, Farrakhan urges individuals to acknowledge and combat the systemic injustices perpetuated by dominant Western forces. He calls upon marginalized communities to unite and resist oppressive systems, positioning his message as a rallying cry for those who have been marginalized by the prevailing global order. The response to Farrakhan's speech has been varied. Supporters commend his courage and the timeliness of his message, viewing him as a crucial advocate for change in a world plagued by inequality. On the other hand, critics argue that his rhetoric is divisive and incendiary, potentially hindering progress towards constructive dialogue and conflict resolution. As the discourse unfolds, Farrakhan's words serve as a poignant reminder of the intricate and contentious nature of conversations surrounding race, power, and justice, both at home and on the global stage. Barack Obama, often seen as a symbol of progress for the Black community in America, was not merely a symbol of progress, but a puppet by white interests. His rise to the presidency marked a watershed moment in American history, symbolizing significant progress in the ongoing struggle for racial equality. His journey to the presidency shatters a formidable racial barrier and underscored the potential for inclusivity and diversity in American politics. However, alongside these achievements, Obama's presidency exposed deep-seated racial tensions and challenges that persist in American society. Obama's ascent to the presidency was celebrated widely within the African-American community, and beyond his victory was not just a personal achievement, but a collective milestone that affirmed the possibility of achieving the highest office regardless of racial background. It represented a culmination of decades of struggle in the civil rights movement, demonstrating that barriers could be overcome through perseverance and a commitment to equality. Central to Obama's appeal was his ability to forge a broad, multiracial coalition of supporters. His message of hope and change resonated deeply among young people and progressive voters disillusioned with the status quo. His narrative as the son of a Kenyan father and a white American mother embodied the diverse tapestry of American identity and offered a vision of unity amid diversity. However, Obama's presidency was not insulated from the realities of racial prejudice and division throughout his tenure. He faced unprecedented levels of scrutiny and opposition, much of which was tinged with racial undertones from the birther conspiracy theories questioning his citizenship to overt displays of racism and public discourse. Obama's presidency brought to the forefront the persistence of racial animus in American politics. Many Black Americans who had hoped Obama's presidency would signify a post-racial era were disillusioned by the harsh realities of racial inequality that persisted under his leadership. The rise of the Black Lives Matter movement during his presidency underscored ongoing issues of police brutality and systemic racism, highlighting the gap between symbolic progress and substantive change in racial justice. Obama's policies and rhetoric often navigated the delicate balance of addressing racial disparities while appealing to a broad spectrum of voters. His cautious approach reflected the complexities of governing in a racially polarized society where perceptions of race often shape public policy and political outcomes. The theory surrounding Barack Obama's rise to power asserts that his election was not merely the outcome of the democratic process, but rather a calculated decision orchestrated by influential figures long before his name appeared on the ballot. This notion challenges the simplistic view of electoral politics and highlights the role of backroom dealings in shaping national leadership. Obama's ability to project a unifying image while subtly aligning with existing power dynamics made him an attractive choice for those seeking continuity with a veneer of change. Kingmakers are individuals or groups with substantial wealth, political clout, and connections across various sectors of society who operate behind the scenes to exert significant influence over political landscapes by strategically selecting and supporting candidates who align with their interests and agendas. They wield influence not only through financial contributions to campaigns, but also through strategic endorsements and behind-the-scenes actions. The process of selecting candidates by kingmakers is meticulous and strategic, involving identifying individuals who exhibit not only intelligence and charisma, but also a willingness to conform to established power structures and policies favored by the kingmakers. These candidates are perceived as capable of navigating complex political landscapes while maintaining a public image that resonates with a broad spectrum of voters. Barack Obama emerged as a compelling choice for kingmakers due to his unique blend of characteristics and background. His intelligence, eloquence, ability to inspire, and pragmatic approach to governance appealed to both progressive ideals and moderate sensibilities. His background as a community organizer, constitutional law scholar, and senator from Illinois positioned him as a candidate with the intellectual rigor and political acumen necessary to address pressing national and international ISS issues. Obama's campaign platform centered on themes of hope change and progressive reform, aligning closely with the evolving priorities of key demographic groups including young voters, minorities, and progressive activists. His advocacy for healthcare reform, environmental protection, and economic stimulus resonated with segments of the electorate disillusioned with previous administration's policies and seeking a new direction for the country. Another crucial criterion that positioned him as the favored choice among influential figures orchestrating his rise to power was his ability to appeal to white voters without alienating them. His manner of speaking and his light-skinned tone contributed to making him more palatable to a diverse electorate, particularly white voters who might have harbored reservations about supporting a black candidate. Senator Harry Reid's infamous comments on Obama's appeal to white voters underscored this strategic dimension. Reid reportedly remarked on Obama's lack of a Negro dialect and his light skin as factors that made him an attractive candidate. This acknowledgement, while controversial, reflected broader perceptions within political circles about the strategic value of Obama's racial identity in garnering cross-racial support. Obama's communication style and messaging were instrumental in shaping his appeal across racial and socio-economic lines. His ability to articulate a message of hope, unity, and inclusive governance resonated with voters disillusioned with partisan gridlock and divisive politics. His experiences navigating Chicago's diverse communities and advocating for grassroots empowerment informed his approach to leadership, emphasizing dialogue, empathy, and consensus building in policy making. However, it is important to note that the black community never won in America before Obama's presidency. Black Americans grappled with entrenched systemic racism, pervasive inequality, and significant barriers to political representation. Historical injustices such as Jim Crow laws and institutionalized segregation had created enduring disparities in education, employment, housing, and access to healthcare. Despite legislative victories like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, racial tensions and divisions persisted, and Black Americans faced widespread discrimination in virtually every aspect of life. During Obama's presidency, systemic biases and higher incarceration rates among Black Americans were exacerbated by the war on drugs policies of the 1980s and 1990s. This led to mass incarceration and intergenerational cycles of poverty and disenfranchisement. Despite the civil rights movement's gains, few Black Americans held high-level political power or leadership positions. The barriers to entry into political offices were steep, with systemic racism often hindering Black candidates' electoral prospects and policy influence. During Obama's time, Barack Obama and his family faced a relentless barrage of racist slurs, derogatory images, and offensive comments, which shocked and disillusioned many in the Black community. These incidents underscored the persistence of deep-seated racial animosity in American society despite progress towards racial equality. The advent of social media during Obama's tenure facilitated the rapid dissemination of racist imagery and narratives, exposing Black Americans to a resurgence of historical racist depictions. Images portraying Obama and his family in caricatures, reminiscent of Jim Crow-era stereotypes, circulated widely, evoking painful memories of America's racist past and generating feelings of vulnerability and unease among African Americans. Despite calls for reform, economic disparities and racial inequalities persisted throughout Obama's presidency. Significant gaps remained in areas such as unemployment rates, access to affordable housing, educational attainment, and wealth accumulation. Critics argued that Obama's economic policies did not adequately address the unique challenges faced by Black communities grappling with generational poverty and systemic discrimination. Therefore, it is difficult to say that the Black community won during Obama's time, as Obama's representation was crucial in addressing these issues. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment in the comment section below.